Imagine an opener who played just 4 tests for South Africa, yet those who watched him closely believed he possessed enough talent to surpass every great opener, from Hobbs and Sutcliffe to master technicians like Hutton and Gavaskar.
Of South Africa had that unique ability to chest the ball correctly a fraction sooner than perhaps any other batsman during the 70s.
It's a beautiful looking stroke. What a lovely start to the day. My goodness, doesn't he make it look easy?
Barry, as an opening batsman, had all the shots in the book, but that did not satisfy him. So he invented one, the lofted off drive. That shot is uniquely Barry's, and besides fetching him many boundaries, it also gave him the sweet satisfaction of watching other players copy it and use it with a fair degree of success.
And when Barry Richards returned to the stage during World Series cricket, even the skeptics who wondered whether he was past his prime were given an emphatic answer.
In the WSC Super Test, Richards averaged 79.14, well above both Viv Richards at 55.70 and Greg Chappell at 56.60.
There were many feats of remarkable batsmanship from one of the finest talents of the 20th century, including 900s before lunch and 1000 runs in a season 15 times. If Barry Richards was South Africa's great what if, Graeme Smith was the opener who turned potential into extraordinary longevity. From 117 tests, Smith accumulated 9,265 runs at 48.25 with 27 centuries and a higher score of 277. But his numbers tell only part of the story. Smith was not merely a prolific opener, he became the face and leader of South African Test cricket during his prime years. A left-hander built for the toughest environments, Smith combined immense physical presence with an appetite for long innings.
Kallis was recently crowned by ESPN Cricinfo as the greatest cricketer of the 21st century, ahead of legends such as Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli. And that tells you just how extraordinary his career was.
He was not merely a world-class all-rounder. Kallis was an elite batsman in his own right, good enough to walk into an all-time South African 11 purely on his batting. Add his all-round capabilities like bowling, exceptional catching, and that rock-solid defense against the very best attacks, and Kallis becomes one of the most valuable assets any Test team could possibly have. Perhaps the finest left-hand batsman the game has ever produced. Donald Bradman certainly thought so, classing only Gary Sobers as his equal among those he saw play.
Enter the maestro.
When people wondered whether anyone could have dethroned Barry Richards as South Africa's greatest batsman had he enjoyed a full career, the answer wasn't across the border or in another era, it was sitting in the very same dressing room. Enter Graeme Pollock, the left-handed maestro.
He just bang, 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 you know. And I said, Stacky, we've got a problem. And Stacky said, what's that? And I said, this bastard's going to see how many Richards gets and then he's going to double it. I was wrong. Barry got 140 and Graeme only got 274, but it was...
Graeme Pollock is widely rated in the same league as the great left-handers of cricket history, such as Gary Sobers and Brian Lara. Some even went further, arguing that Pollock was better than both, while others placed him firmly alongside them among the greatest left-handed batsmen the game has produced.
And when Rod McCurdy overpitched, Pollock dispatched him.
If someone thinks Jacques Kallis was the only world-class all-rounder South Africa has ever produced, we are only getting started. South Africa has produced a remarkable lineage of all-rounders, and one of the earliest and arguably the greatest of them all was Aubrey Faulkner.
A phenomenal batsman who averaged over 40 in Test cricket, Faulkner was also one of the earliest great exponents of the googly.
he differed from other bowlers of that type because of his ability to send down quite a fast ball, almost a yorker, and when at his best, with faultless length, skill in turning the ball either way, and a puzzling variation of flight, he proved too much for some of the world's greatest batsmen. If Aubrey Faulkner represents South Africa's cricketing genius from the earliest era, number 6 brings us to a completely different kind of brilliance.
AB de Villiers, one of the most naturally gifted batsmen the game has ever seen. De Villiers combined extraordinary hand-eye coordination with an ability to play shots that seemed to belong to another sport. But for an all-time Test 11, his selection is not based on his spectacular stroke play alone. He was a remarkably complete Test batsman, capable of absorbing pressure, playing long innings and adapting his game to difficult conditions. And then there was his fielding, arguably among the finest South Africa has ever produced. At number 6, AB de Villiers gives this 11 an extraordinary combination of class, versatility and match-winning ability.
Slashed for 4. Brilliant shot, average ball.
To fit this lineup together, AB de Villiers takes the gloves. That's no disrespect to Mark Boucher's record 555 Test dismissals. It's a tactical masterstroke. Unlocking AB's flexibility opens up a spot for a man whose international career was stolen by apartheid. The devastating fast bowling all-rounder Mike Procter.
What a great sight for a fast bowler. The middle stump removed without...
Procter was an extraordinary cricketer. In first-class cricket, he scored 6 consecutive centuries while playing for Rhodesia in the early 1970s. A remarkable feat that captures just how formidable he was with the bat. But it was with the ball that he could be devastating. In his brief Test career, Procter took 41 wickets in just 7 matches at an astonishing average of 15.02, with 3 4-wicket hauls and a 5-wicket haul.
And when South African players were competing in World Series cricket, Procter showed his quality against some of the finest batsmen in the world,
taking 14 wickets at just 16.07. Imagine what his numbers might have looked like with a full international career. Instead, apartheid denied South Africa and cricket itself the chance to see the full extent of Mike Procter's greatness. And that is precisely why, in this all-time 11, Mike Procter walks in at number 7.
Magnificent blow again, just landing a yard over the ropes. So twice in this over, Bus has just dropped a little bit.
At number 8 comes Shaun Pollock, another world-class all-rounder and perhaps the clearest evidence of the incredible depth South Africa has produced in this department. With the bat, Pollock scored 3,781 Test runs at an average of 32.31, including a highest score of 111, but it was with the ball where he truly made his mark. He finished with 421 Test wickets at 23.11, alongside an economy rate of just 2.39. That combination of reliability, discipline and genuine all-round ability makes Pollock an almost automatic selection in an all-time South African 11.
But you simply cannot talk about Shaun Pollock without mentioning his partner in crime, the man who brought the raw pace and aggression to complement Pollock's precision. The White Lightning, Allan Donald. While Pollock was relentless accuracy and control, Donald was sheer hostility. Express pace, aggression, and the ability to make even the best batsmen uncomfortable. Together, they formed one of the most formidable new ball partnerships of their era.
Someone as good as Allan Donald could easily be regarded as the gold standard of South African fast bowling until another phenomenon arrived. Extreme pace, the ability to swing the ball both ways, and relentless accuracy made Dale Steyn one of the greatest fast bowlers the world has ever seen. His dominance in the subcontinent only added to his aura. The scary eyes, the throbbing veins, and that iconic chainsaw celebration all became part of the legend, helping establish Steyn as perhaps South Africa's most feared fast bowler.
Oh no! Matthew Hayden's gone, caught it short.
Hugh Tayfield was one of the most successful bowlers ever produced by South Africa and one of the greatest off-spinners the game has seen. He took 170 wickets in tests at a cost of 25.91 in 37 matches. Tayfield took more wickets per test match, 4.59, than either Jim Laker or Lance Gibbs, 4.19 and 3.91. And though he was not in Laker's class as a spinner of the ball, he was exceptionally accurate and could bowl all day without wavering. Tayfield was, with Trevor Goddard, at the centre of South Africa's containing cricket of the 1950s. He bowled 137 consecutive balls without conceding a run against England at Durban in 1956-57. Clive Rice. He was one of the game's leading all-rounders, a punishing right-handed batsman with one of the most savage cuts in cricket. A seamer capable of genuine pace through the 1970s and a captain as hard-headed as any in the business. He attracted the attention of Kerry Packer's World Series cricket, in itself recognition of his abilities, and was an automatic choice for the South African teams against the rebel tourists of the 1980s. Imran himself admitted there was one man who matched him shot for shot and wicket for wicket, South Africa's Clive Rice. Mark Boucher makes way for AB de Villiers behind the stumps because it creates room for Mike Procter, one of South Africa's greatest all-rounders. But Boucher is simply too good to leave out altogether. He goes into the substitutes, ready to take the gloves whenever the team requires a regular wicketkeeper.
The classiest, calmest man on a cricket field, Hashim Amla's name is etched in South African cricket history. With his wristy leg-side flick and serene cover drive, Amla became the first South African to score a triple century in Test cricket. Dudley knows. His most renowned innings was 208 in the Nottingham Test of 1951. Coming into the match at the age of 40, with his broken right thumb pinned, he batted for 9 hours. Against the pain, and not only registering South Africa's first double century against England, but captaining South Africa to their first Test victory for 16 years. So the question remains, how would you rank this South African 11 against the great cricketing powerhouses, Australia, West Indies and England all-time 11? Could this team actually challenge them across eras and conditions? I'm genuinely curious to know your answer and the reasons behind it. Let me know in the comments.